Live from New York, you're watching News Always On. I'm Kessyl. Days before President Donald Trump met with Vladimir Putin, 12 Russian intelligence officers were charged in the hacking of Democrats' emails. The indictments were announced on Friday by Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein as part of the ongoing special counsel probe into potential coordination between the Trump campaign and Russia. The Russians are accused of hacking into the computer networks of the Democratic National Committee and the presidential campaign of Hillary Clinton. Before Friday, 20 people and 3 companies had been charged in the Mueller investigation. That includes 4 former Trump campaign and White House aides and 13 Russians accused of participating in the hidden but powerful social media campaign to sway American opinion in the 2016 election. History was made with the 2018 Emmy Awards nominations that include recognition for the Asian descent Canadian actress Sandra. She's known for her role as Christina Young in the drama series Grey's Anatomy. The actress received the nomination for the BBC America thriller Killing Eve, where she plays a military intelligence officer. Born in Canada to Korean immigrant parents, she has appeared in movies including The Princess Diaries and Big Fat Liar. Her nomination spurred fans to celebrate online, with several hoping that this nomination might lead to a win she deserved for Grey's Anatomy. Nissan is recalling nearly 105,000 small cars to replace Takata passenger airbag inflators that can explode and hold shrapnel at drivers and passengers. That includes the 2011 Versa sedan and the 2011 and 2012 Versa hatchback. Takata uses the chemical ammonium nitrate to create a small explosion to inflate the airbags in the crash, but according to ABC News, the chemical can deteriorate due to high temperatures and humidity, blowing apart a metal canister. At least 23 people have died worldwide and about 300 have been hurt. The recall will begin this month. Following an emergency meeting on the second day of the NATO summit in Brussels, President Trump said everyone had agreed to up their commitment, quote, levels never thought before. Here is more.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. We've had a very amazing 2-day period in Brussels, and we really accomplished a lot with respect to NATO. For years, presidents have been coming to these meetings and talked about the expense, the tremendous expense for the United States, and tremendous progress has been made. Everyone's agreed to substantially up their commitment. They're going to up it at levels that they've never thought of before. Prior to last year, where I attended my first meeting, it was going down. The amount of money being spent by countries was going down and down very substantially, and now it's going up very substantially, and commitments were made. Only 5 of 29 countries were making their commitment, and that's now changed. The commitment was at 2%. Ultimately, that'll be going up quite a bit higher than that. So we made a tremendous amount of progress today. It's been about, at a minimum, they estimate, and they're going to be giving you exact numbers, but since last year, they've raised an additional $33 billion. That's been put up by the various countries, not including the United States. And the United States' commitment to NATO is very strong, remains very strong, but primarily because everyone, the spirit they have, the amount of money they're willing to spend, the additional money that they will be putting up has been really, really amazing to see it. To see the level of spirit in that room is incredible. And I hope that we're going to be able to get along with Russia. I think that we probably will be able to. The people in the room think so, but they nevertheless, they really stepped up their commitment and stepped it up like they never have before. So we took in an additional 33. The number could actually be higher than 40 when they give you the final number. The Secretary General Stoltenberg will be giving those numbers sometime today, probably in his concluding press statement. But we are doing numbers like they've never done before or ever seen before. And you'll be seeing that, and I guess you'll be hearing that a little bit later. I told people that I'd be very unhappy if they didn't up their commitments very substantially, because the United States has been paying a tremendous amount, probably 90% of the cost of NATO. And now people are going to start, and countries are going to start upping their commitments. So I let them know yesterday, actually. I was surprised that you didn't pick it up. It took till today. But yesterday, I let them know that I was extremely unhappy with what was happening. And they have substantially upped their commitment. Yeah. And now we're very happy and have a very, very powerful, very, very strong NATO, much stronger than it was 2 days ago. Well, they were probably worried because the United States was not being treated fairly, but now we are because the commitment has been up so much. And then today and yesterday I was probably a little bit more firm. But I believe in NATO. I think NATO is very important, probably the greatest ever done. But the United States was paying for anywhere from 70 to 90% of it, depending on the way you calculate. That's not fair to the United States. In addition to that, as you know, we're in negotiations with the EU, and we're going to be meeting with them next week. We've been treated very unfairly on trade. Our farmers have been shut out of the European Union. Now, you could say they're different, but basically, to a large extent, they're the same countries. So I think we're going to be ultimately treated fairly on trade. We'll see what happens. But I can tell you that NATO now is really a fine-tuned machine. People are paying money that they never paid before. They're happy to do it. And the United States is being treated much more fairly. Yes, sir.
Some people ask themselves, will you be tweeting differently once you board the Air Force One? Thank you.
No, that's other people that do that. I don't. I'm very consistent. I'm a very stable genius. Go ahead.
Summit with President Putin, will you be raising arms control issues? Would you like to extend New START? And will you raise concerns about violations of the INF Treaty?
Yes.
And as a follow-up to the NATO meeting today, will you suggest to him or would you consider stopping military exercises in the Baltic states if that's something that he requests?
Well, perhaps we'll talk about that. But I will say that we are going to be talking about those three issues and many more. We'll be talking about it, Jeff. Okay? Go ahead.
Did any of your allies here express any specific concerns or talk to you about any messages that they'd like you to take with you when you go to the summit?
Yeah, just the opposite of concern. They actually, and they'll probably come out with a little bit of an edict, but they actually thanked me for meeting with President Putin. I look forward to the meeting. They thanked me. They thought it was a great thing that I was doing it, and they gave us our best wishes, or their best wishes. Now, with that being said, we'll see what happens. Just a loose meeting. It's not going to be big schedule. I don't think it should take a very long period of time, and we'll see where it leads. But it could lead to something very productive, and maybe it's not. But I think meeting with people is great.
Trip to the UK. There are lots of protests planned in London and elsewhere. How do you feel about that?
I think it's fine. I mean, I think they like me a lot in the UK. I think they agree with me on immigration. I'm very strong on immigration. I made a point today. I said, you've got to stop. You're ruining you're going to have a lot of problems. You see what's going on throughout the world with immigration. I probably at least partially won an election because of immigration. If you look at Italy, Giuseppe, who I got to know quite well over the last month and a half, he won his election because of strong immigration policies on Italy. I think that a lot of the people in the UK, I think that's why Brexit happened. Now, I don't know what's going on with the negotiation. Who knows? And I guess that's become a very interesting point of contention. I said I'm going to a few hot spots. We have NATO, then we have the UK, and then we have Putin. And I said, Putin may be the easiest of them all. You never know. But I'm going to a pretty hot spot right now, right, with a lot of resignations. But I will say that immigration is a very important thing. And I told them today the EU, the European Union, better be very careful because immigration is taking over Europe, and they better be very, very careful. And I said that loud and clear. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
And what would be the best deal with Putin when you come to Helsinki? And don't you think that your harsh diplomacy, that you are playing in the same goal that Putin with your harsh diplomacy towards EU and NATO?
Well, I can't tell you what would be the ultimate. What would be the ultimate? Well, let's see. No more nuclear weapons anywhere in the world would be the ultimate, okay? No more wars, no more problems, no more conflict. Let's find a cure to every disease known to mankind or womankind. That would be my ultimate, okay? And we'll start from there. Okay.
We've seen escalation of tension between you and the Iranians. What is your exit plan, Mr. President?
I would say there might be an escalation between us and the Iranians. I agree with
They are threatening.
By the way, they're treating us with much more respect right now than they did in the past. And I know they're having a lot of problems and their economy is collapsing. But I will tell you this, at a certain point, they're going to call me and they're going to say, let's make a deal. And we'll make a deal. But they're feeling a lot of pain right now. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Both of my parents are from the EU, despite the fact they don't treat us well on trade, but I think that'll change also. And I think we'll see that because on the 25th of July, they're coming in to start negotiations with me. We'll see. And if they don't negotiate in good faith, we'll do something having to do with all of the millions of cars that are coming into our country and being taxed at a virtually zero level, at a very low level. But, Jeremy, I think it's been a very effective way of negotiating, but I'm not negotiating. I just want fairness for the United States. We're paying for far too much of NATO. NATO is very important, but NATO is helping Europe more than it's helping us. At the same time, it's very good for us. Meeting with President Putin on Monday, and I think we go into that meeting not looking for so much. We want to find out about Syria. We will, of course, ask your favorite question about meddling. I will be asking that question again. But we'll also be talking about other things. We'll be talking about Ukraine. What will happen with Crimea from this point on, that I can't tell you. But I'm not happy about Crimea. But, again, that was Barack Obama's watch, not Trump's watch. Yeah, go ahead, sure.
Jeff Mason.
Could you just tell us, why do you think that? Is there something you admire about him? And the second question, because you're just about to go to the UK.
Well, he's a competitor. He's been very nice to me the times I've met him. I've been nice to him. He's a competitor. You know, somebody was saying, is he an enemy? No, he's not my enemy. Is he a friend? No, I don't know him well enough. But the couple of times that I've gotten to meet him, we got along very well. You saw that. I hope we get along well. I think we get along well. But ultimately, he's a competitor. He's representing Russia. I'm representing the United States. So, in a sense, we're competitors. Not a question of friend or enemy. He's not my enemy. And hopefully someday, maybe he'll be a friend. It could happen. But I just don't know him very well. I've met him a couple of times. And when I did meet him, most of you people were there. It's not for me to say. I'd like to see him be able to work it out so it could go quickly, whatever they work out. Is it heartbreaking? Hard Brexit. Oh, hard Brexit, I see. I thought you said it was heartbreaking. I said that might be going a little bit too far, right? Heartbreaking. Is it heartbreaking? A lot of things are heartbreaking. No, I would say that, you know, Brexit is Brexit. It's not like, I guess when you use the term hard Brexit, I assume that's what you mean. The people voted to break it up. So I would imagine that's what they'll do, but maybe they're taking a little bit of a different route. So I don't know if that's what they voted for. China is going to be, I think, very successfully ultimately taken care of. I have a great respect for their president, as you know. President Xi spent 2 days there. It was among the most magical 2 days I've ever lived. And I think we're going to end up doing something very good with China. Right now we're in a pretty nasty trade battle, but I think ultimately that'll work out.
A little fun fact about Friday the 13th. Mark Twain was once the 13th guest at a dinner party, and a friend warned him not to go. Twain later told a friend, saying, quote, "It was bad luck. They only had food for 12. For News Always On, I'm Kessyl. Have a great weekend.